morning, everybody. What a season we are enjoying in the Shannons Nationals, arguably one of our greatest to date, and we're very thankful for the audience numbers on the live stream. We've been having record numbers of you tuning in right around the country. So far, we've been to New South Wales, a rip around at Phillip Island in Victoria, and last time out, of course, at Tailem Bend in South Australia. Today and this weekend, we find ourselves in a heartland of motorsport. Queensland Raceway, highs of 25 degrees today, hardly a cloud in the sky, about 5% chance of rain, currently 12 degrees. It could not be better to go motor racing today. And in terms of the offering we have for you on the Saturday, we'll take you right through until about 4:45 this afternoon. Qualifying and racing coming your way across a raft of categories, from prototypes, Porsche Michelin GT3 Cup Challengers, a massive field of Hyundai Excels, including a third-generation racer, Paul Morris's son, Nash Morris, having a go this weekend. Sports sedans, production cars, and a whole lot more. One thing I haven't mentioned, of course, is improved production, something our Cameron Vanderduggen likes a whole lot. And so too does Emma Francesco, and she's in the pit lane right now. Good morning, Em.
Good morning, Rusty. I do indeed. As we get ready for race one, I'm here with the president of Improved Production at Queensland, Drew Lawrence. And Drew, a huge weekend for you guys. First round at Shannons as well.
Yeah, Emma, we're extremely excited to be here. It's the first time Improved Production's been on the CAMS Shannons Nationals, and we're really stoked to be a part of it this weekend.
Hey, these cars are very, very loud. I know they're fast. For the average punter that doesn't know much about this category, what can you tell us about these cars in the field?
Look, it's a touring car category, but it's a really diverse range of cars. We've got cars from the 70s all the way through to modern cars, and there's a bit of everything. We've got 4 different engine classes within the capacity, and you can hear a different range of noises and a lot of strengths and weaknesses of all those cars this morning. It's going to be really close racing, though, as a result of all of that. So I'd also like to sort of talk about our sponsor that's come on board this weekend as well. We've got MCA Suspension that's come on specifically for this event, and I'd like to thank them, and our long-term tyre sponsor Yokohama returning as well. So we're really excited.
Thanks, Drew. Good luck for the weekend.
Cheers. Thanks very much, guys.
Rusty?
And it's a nice link as well, a nice fit with the headline act that we bring you on the Shannons Nationals here. I'm in the Melbourne Performance Audi garage at the moment. A little bit later, car sales, TCR Australia qualifying, and race one coming your way this afternoon. All sorts of stories emerging from the pit as well, from the return of a legend in Russell Ingall, who's got a bright smile on his face after enjoying his time with the class at Tailem Bend last time out. He is again back in the Audi, and we have something of an international benchmark. Jean-Carl Venet, JK, has joined the field, a guy who has reached dizzy heights in this global formula, and he's going to be a real good benchmark for our local races this weekend. Can't wait to talk more about that with Aaron Noonan. Right now, though, we focus on Improved Production. Emma will be bringing you updates from the lane, and we take you now to commentary, headed up by Darren Smith and a guy who'll be frothing about this class. Good morning, Cameron Vanderduggen.
Thank you very much, Greg Rust. And right over your left shoulder there, a legend of Improved Production, Leanne Tander, her TCR car lined up, ready to go. She was absolutely massive in this category. We look at the grid: Hudson, Marinelli, Lawrence, Odell Fontaine, the legend there, Kyle Organ-Moore, Begg, back to Clements, Jukes, Swarbrook, Izzarella, Wade, Wilkinson, Hunter, Payne, Croston, O'Connor, Herford, Kingston, Douglas rounds out our top 20. Huge field of cars. Cam, you do this stuff on every other weekend when you're not calling races.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how Marinelli lines up against Hudson off the front row of this grid. Queensland Improved Production Series. This is part of their series for the year. That was what you heard before from Drew Lawrence, Darren, and that's great to see. They've been at Morgan Park twice so far this year, here at Queensland Raceway, and then they go back to Morgan Park on September 27th. 5-second signal now. Marinelli versus Hudson on the front row, and they're away. Great jump from Marinelli. A lot of wheel spin, I should say, as we see Lawrence and Odell Fontana jumping through from the second row. Looks like Hudson in the RX-7 leads down into turn 1, but Troy Marinelli holding to the outside. Great drive. Wonderful, giving each other a bit of racing room. Lock up on the front right there for Hudson, and he holds on into turn 2. Marinelli hangs tough on the outside. He'll have the run up the back straight.
The turbo car will certainly start to swing into action now. The 13B powered RX-7 goes with him. That's got some good grunt. Big lock up on the right front, torturing the Yokohamas, and the black RX-7 dives to the inside. That's Odell Fontana as well, looks up the inside, but gets relegated back. Now the pressure starts to come on as they get down into turn number 4. But have a look at this, Marinelli, huge experience across the country. Doesn't just confine himself to the Queensland Series. We've seen him run this car at numerous times at nationals around, and lots of experience. They all start to line up. Great to see a couple of RX-7s right up the front of the Queensland Series.
So Odell Fontana holding on.
Touch.
It was Hudson just tapping the back of the Odell Fontana RX-7. Hudson's found some speed now, but this is allowing Troy Marinelli to get away. And Odell Fontana, he started way back in 1999 in this category, and it looks like Hudson's got the run on him down the front straight here.
Carl Begg in that big banger, looks to the inside, gets hung out to dry. In fact, he has to go up onto the ripple strip to get through turn number 1. But this battle is raging up the front, and as always in improved production, there's plenty of battles right back down through the field. There's plenty of touching going on here too. Lots of knocking on the door.
That's Aaron Lawrence
just having a big look at it.
Yeah, Aaron Lawrence just had a good look there, but the RX-7 just pulls away up the back straight now, down into turn 3. Hudson really struggling under brakes at the moment. Looks like Odell Fontana has it on him into the corners, but plenty of power out of that 13B of Zach Hudson as they make their way to the infield. Troy Marinelli, they're catching up now. Zach Hudson ranging up onto the back.
Waiting for this next move. Wonder how many times we can see this Hudson car lock up that right front. It's not a lot. These Yokohamas will hang in with a lot of torture. Looks to the inside. He's got a run on it. It's big brakes on that RX-7. Puts the nose in there. And that's exactly what improved production car racing is all about. Try and get the move done while you've got the car stable in a straight line. Thresholded braking. No ABS on board. Have a look at this. It's turbocharged versus normally aspirated RX-7 rotary power. Nice to the inside. The nimble RX-7 hangs tough, but it's the power of the turbo car. Look to the outside. Gee, Marinelli's being able to put this Nissan just about wherever he wants on the car, but at the moment, it's Hudson, who seems to be on a single rail. He can look to the inside of the corner under brakes, but crowds it now. Have a look at that. Covers off the inside run.
He's been racing kart since he's 9, Zach Hudson. Only 18 years old, Darren Smith, as Marinelli gets to the inside now. What I'm really enjoying is the racing room being given by both of these drivers up the front.
For the moment.
Well, Hudson could have closed the door on him as they came onto the pit straight here, but he didn't.
You got
left
a fair bit of action there, have you, mate?
Marinelli, as they now dive down into turn 4 and turn 5. Hudson's now got those tyres up to temperature. I wonder, though, Darren, whether those lockups early on in this race will have compromised the quality of these tyres. Plenty of racing still to go, but now Odell Fontana looking. No, that's actually Aaron Lawrence, I should say, looking at the Marinelli car just in front.
Tell you what, it's a good bit of interest just off the back of this leading group in 5th position is the Carl Begg number 90. It's coming down just in the back of shot here now. That's an AMG. I think the first AMG we've seen in improved production racing. And I tell you what, I know how the C63S goes, and I can't believe that this guy's hanging it tough here. Of course, Carl ran this in the Australian Production Car Series, or a variation of this car, because this allows a fair bit more modifications than the MRF production cars do, but doing a fantastic job. That is a big, heavy Merc with a very, very nice V8 power plant in front of it. Back to the leaders now. Lawrence onto the back of the very similar car of Marinelli. Then it's Simon Odell Fontana as well, who we've seen doing a lot of travelling as well over the years. We've seen him running at nationals, and for some time Simon ran an RX-3, a real snotty-nosed RX-3 when it went out there. The usual brap sort of noise out of the rotary. Hudson now moving around the Yokohama tyres, just grimacing as he's putting full load on that right front on the left-hander coming through turn 5 and up to 6 now. He's got himself a nice gap. This is actually a light year in improved production racing, about 6 car lengths. Big slide, big slide over the initial race leader of Lawrence there, and he is absolutely under threat now. Down the inside goes the number 6
So Darren, just an update. Brock Payne, the 17-year-old in his second year of improved production racing's pulled into the pits, now headed back to the paddock. Not sure what's happened with that car. We'll find out later. But 17-year-old out. So we've got a spinner. We'll keep an eye out as to who that was. We've cut back to our leaders at the moment. Well, the battle over third place. And that is Aaron Lawrence and Simon Odell Fontana. And Aaron Lawrence comfortably in third now. Zach Hudson, the 18-year-old driver I mentioned before, has only just got hold of this RX-7. He'd been in XLs, raced go-karts, as I said, from the age of 9, set the lap record at Morgan Park last round. So a rapid young 18-year-old. Great to see him out there in rotary power. Well, he'll certainly know he's alive in improved production. The speed difference between XLs and improved production is massive. You can see on the bottom right there, Andre Heimgartner, just watching. Now, we were just chatting about rotaries. He said, I've owned rotors, he loves them. What is it about rotary engines and our Kiwi friends? They just seem to love them over there. They're pretty quick, but normally their engine builders are Aussies anyway, so it'll always come back. Oh, you know you just started a war, don't you? Hello to all of our Kiwi friends. I know they do tune in on the live stream for Shannons Nationals. Hello to all our rotary engine builders that'll be watching as well with improved production on track, and it's good to see an RX-7 out in front. This class of late across the country has had pretty much a V8 domination feel to it in a national sense. So, but, Darren, good to see the rotors back out there. Darren Smith, any reason why this is the race that's got you up on your toes now that the rotaries out in front? It's been a long time, hasn't it, James, to see an RX-7 out in front. And look, the RX-7's not my favourite shape, but certainly the rotors there's something different. There's just something different about it. You know, there's lots of 4 cylinders. I think that's what's good with Queensland, is that there's a lot of these Nissan 200SX Silvia iteration cars using different technology, 4-cylinder turbocharged outfits. There's something really for everyone. And just looking at the BMW on screen, you know, like years ago, no one had any money in improved production to run BMWs, and now with the world of stat write-offs and all that sort of thing, you can build up a BMW and go racing in this sort of category. Come along with the Shannons Nationals, be part of the live stream, and have a great weekend. I'm sure these teams, they'll leave the track. They won't actually see anything else that's going on here this weekend. They'll be feverishly working on the cars and making sure they're going to make it through the weekend, and then again the next round, which I think is back at Morgan Park for the Queensland Improved Production Championship. Huge battle going here between Swarbrick and Justin Wade. Wade's now got the inside, was it? I saw before, and we see Beck gets through in the Merc there as well. So a bit of an issue there for the number 55 car of Clements. Jason Clements there, just running very wide, losing a spot. Looking back down through our field, 6 laps completed of the 12-lap journey. It's Hudson to Marinelli, Lawrence, Simon Odell Fontana, Kyle Organ-Moore. Now, Kyle Organ-Moore had a very, very interesting approach to the main straight at the Nationals at Phillip Island going back 2016. His spin started over the Ripple Strip, where Wayne Wakefield was the only one ever in the wagon that could get out over there and keep it on the black stuff. And Kyle Organ-Moore's spin ended up somewhere between the start-finish line and turn 1. It was a massive, massive piece of involvement. It was one of those ones where he's got it, he hasn't, he's got it, he hasn't. Whoa, speaking of, look at that, Aaron Lawrence. He didn't have it, and he spun off the track down there at turn 4. So he was looking to put the pressure on Marinelli, and unfortunately for Aaron Lawrence, he's doing circle work out in the paddock. He's off to the Denny Ute Muster after this weekend. He's just perfecting the style. And of course, Nissans or Datsuns were big in the Australian Rally Championship for many, many years, and he's looks like he's joining that, but back on he goes. And the good thing about that, Cameron, and you know this, is that the Yokohama will be still in good nick. Just brush off the dirt and press on. The AO50 tyre, you cannot fault it. We've got a bit of coming together in the main straight here with Clements and Carl Begg, and they survived down into turn 1 as we go down to Greg Rust.
Really made his mark in the inaugural season of Car Sales TCR Australia as young Will Brown. Look at the bit of steering going on. Andre Heimgartner, what's all that about?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure, actually.
So you guys have been all having a little bit of a chat here, but what I wanted to do was quickly ask about Jean-Carl Venet, who's joined the championship this weekend. Frenchman's got a lot of experience. How's your French? Have you spoken to him? And what can we learn about his inclusion, do you reckon?
I think I did French in grade 2 or something, but yeah, we're not going to let a Frenchie come out here and beat us, that's for sure. So we'll make sure if we have to shuffle him, we will. So no, we'll have a good weekend, and we'll see how he goes. He's obviously been pretty quick so far, and he's a great driver, so I think it'll be good racing all weekend. And you know, we'll have to make sure, like I say, we don't let him win.
Okay, quickly, your Friday, give us an assessment how the day was. You had an issue with the front splitter at one point, but are you all good for qualifying and racing today?
Yeah, it's the best Friday we've had so far, so I'm a little bit worried actually. But no, we got second and fourth, and with a splitter issue yesterday, so I think we're feeling pretty confident, and we'll run in the top 3. It'll be pretty wild round here, I reckon.
There he is, one of the real up-and-coming characters of our game. Don't ever change, mate.
Thank you, cheers.
Fantastic battle going on in the MCA suspension. Yokohama tyres, improved production, race 1 for the weekend. It's a bit of a changing of the guard field to improve production these days. It used to be Datsuns and Mazdas at the front. Now we've got BMWs and Mercedes-Benz. Are we getting gentrification in improved production?
Never. Never. We won't get it, no. But the BMW is a great car. You notice in all state championships, that's what I'm really enjoying about the MCA suspension improved production as part of the Queensland series, is that they're starting to get more and more, I guess what you say, credibility. They're getting invited to more big events, and they're the biggest category at a state level, bar none. I mean, Hyundais are saying that XLs have got a massive field everywhere they go, but Darren, what other category pulls regularly over 150 entries to a Nationals?
Yeah, it's
Fills
huge,
fields at every state round they go to. And it's BMW's now starting to dominate out at the state level events. It's, well, you've seen the V8. 6-litre V8's now available in this category. 6-speed gearboxes are free for them to run. The question goes, though, where do you start to allow in things like sequential boxes or not? And that might be moving a little bit too close to sports sedans. And that will be one of the challenges of looking after this category as it goes through this evolution or gentrification, as you called it.
Well, certainly, and as long as they start Carl Beck slowing in the straight there, that's a shame in the AMG. I guess the thing is that one of the main attractions is when we just look at that shot there, that great shot of Simon there coming onto the straight, and Kyle Walker Moore right in the back of him here. Actually, this could be a change of position. But the good thing about it, and what I really enjoy about it, is these things move around on those R-Spec tyres. Australia and New Zealand are the only countries in the world that really acknowledge R-Spec tyres. Pretty much everywhere else in the world, they're an FIA2 type of treaded tyre, but these R-Specs, they put up with the torture. This Yokohama tyre is so durable, but they move around. They don't offer anywhere near a slick type of grip and performance.
But having said that, the AO50, and this is what point I was about to make before we caught up with Will Brown before, it's such a consistent tyre. You get amazing speed out of that tyre for almost down to canvas. And some drivers, particularly in RX-7s, you'll hear them talk about the fact the tyre is never as fast as its last weekend in an AO50. And that's a great sign in a category like this where you want the tyre to last.
Well, that's good, isn't it, RX-7? Everything's in line. The engine's only as good when it's just about to blow. The tyres are only good when they're just about to blow.
Darren, you're supposed to be on my side with rotary engines. I've got enough of that.
I blew up more of them than you did.
Ooh.
That's quite a title.
Should we go to the stat sheet? Mark Jones, I'm sure you're out there with driver database. Can you get us some Darren Smith stats, please? As we now look to the last 2 laps of race 1 for the MCA suspension improved production as part of the Queensland series.
Massive field, out to 30 cars here this weekend. Really doing a terrific job. And this battle out in front is raging. There's Kyle Moore, just staying tough with that VR Commodore. It's grown a bit of an off-deck rear wing on that, as has the BMW. That's something that was allowed through. And interesting, the evolution, and we talked about this actually at Tailem Bend when the South Australian Improved Production Association ran at the last round of the Shannons Nationals, was the stability of the regulations. Whether you like it or not, every decade, the rules get updated. So, you know, if you can get in a category where there's only once every 10 years major rule changes, then that's it. You build a car, and that's where we've seen that block of evolution from Datsuns and Mazdas to Mazdas and Mazdas, and then to the Holdens and the BMWs. As these rules change, some of these other different types of vehicles can get up there.
Last lap of race 1, and it's an RX-7 that leads. And those that know me know just how much joy I got out of that statement as Zach Hudson continues. Oh, hanging the tail out there. A rapid young 18-year-old who's only just come into the category.
Gee, I tell you what, he'll be making friends fast, isn't he? If he's only just come in, got this nice number 65. The RX-7 Series 1, 2 or 3 shape, very similar. And really interesting to see this RX-7 getting up in this race. It'll be interesting to see as they evolve throughout this weekend how the Yokohama holds up. Generally, the RX-7s do well. They're quite well weighted over the tyre, kind of like a 944 Porsche, almost a 50-50 split, and they do it very, very nicely. The Nissan Silvia is fairly similar, although that does have a fair bit more weight back in the car as well.
Last couple of corners to go. It's Hudson from Marinelli. Odell Fontana also in an RX-7 holding on. Through the final corner we go. Marinelli just about loses it, but the RX-7 strikes first here at Queensland Raceway. Marinelli trying through that final corner just to get a run on Hudson, but it's RX-7, and I'm going to continue to say it, with the rotary engine. Leave me alone, Greg Rust. As Zach Hudson, Marinelli, Odell Fontana, Organ Moore, and Duke's coming home in 5th. Well done. Clements in 6th. And we wait now for Issa Rosina. I'll get there eventually. Aaron Lawrence, he fought back after that spin down at turn 4 and made his way up into 8th.
Great run there. Good opening salvo for the MCA suspension improved production cars on their Yokohama controlled tyre as the rest of the field come to the line. Justin Wade back there in 10th place, unfamiliar zone for the number 7. Wilkinson to Cook. And Carl Begg hopefully going to make it to the line. There it is on the screen. The Moore trailers, Hudson panel beaters, Mazda RX-7. Zach Hudson gets to the line. Carl Begg eventually gets there in the big old AMG as well. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. These guys next get out on track at 12:25 this afternoon. Another race, and then we go again tomorrow with the Queensland Improved Production Association at 10 minutes past 4. So plenty of racing. Hudson confirmed as the winner, and we round out of the 10 now to Graham Wilkinson, Bruce Cook, Jeff Kingston, Carl Begg in the motorsportsales.com.au Mercedes AMG C63, Ewan Johnson, Taylor Herford, David O'Connor, Warwick Douglas, Matt Dwyer and Scott Dean. As we go to the next screen, Nicholas Dukes through, Dave Riley in the Corolla, Steve McHugh in the Swift, Scott Hunter, Damien Croston and Brock Payne. Here's the start again. Big wheel spin from the Nissan. That's what gazumped him off the line. So really good shot as they charged down into turn 1. It was the RX-7 that pushed the Nissan over, and we saw a little bit of bip and barge. He was a bit of the lock up on the RX-7, just a little puff of smoke off that left-hand rear as it unloaded into the final corner, coming onto the straight. And this battle went on for a couple of laps. Big spin there for the number 35, and Douglas got back on track eventually. Not what you want to do in your BMW, that's for sure. Here we see big moves there. Carl Begg trying to stay with that 1994 M3.
This is where the moment where Lawrence in his Silvia just wasn't able to hang on. The rears just let go down into turn 4, and he made his way back up into 8th after a fair bit of circle work.
Big run down the front straight here, a nice gap. Hudson eased out mid-race there. And we go now back down to live shots. TCR cars warming up down there in the pit and paddock area. And as we just touched on, back shot there, Leanne Tander was awesome in improved production racing going back into the early 2000s and finding herself back in behind the wheel of a Audi TCR car. And we'll be back very soon with the Porsche Michelin GT3 Cup Challenge.